This video is for Moon Group this week, so if you are not part of Moon Group, you do not have to be watching this video unless you felt like you didn't know the Moon Group's words for this week. But you guys have a few awesome patterns that are going to make studying for your spelling words pretty easy this week. So some of the patterns that we have are that a lot of our words have Q, U in them. There's also the pattern of O and I together. There's also P and L together. And we also have a prefix in your list. And that prefix is the word pre. So we have several different types of patterns that make things easy. So if you memorize that these things need to be together and most of your words on your list, all of them except for 3, then that's actually going to make studying a lot easier this week. So the words that we have this week, I guess I'll make some columns so that we can study the words. Okay. So QU is actually one of my favorite combos of words, and the reason why is because my husband's name starts with a Q and a U. His name is Quentin, so he has a Q and a U in his name. And actually, guys, Q and U are a pairing that's almost never apart. Q is just one of those letters of the alphabet that has to have a U next to it. I personally can't think of a single exception to this rule. An exception is something that's like the opposite of that. I can't think of any Q's in the English language that come without a U next to it. So some of the words that we have this week with a Q and a U are the words, let's see, I'm going to use some different colored crayons, and if you want to practice with me, you can write your list out. We have the word queen. So we have Q, U, and then queen also has an een to it. Queen, een. So we have E-E-N. So we have a double E, E, and then an N. And the reason I did the QU one color, the EE another, is because EE is going to be good to remember us together, and then N is just that extra letter at the end. All right, another word that's QU, this word is quiet. Quiet. So I'm going to do QU because that's our pattern this week. Quiet. And as you're saying it, quiet, you can hear that I sound. So we have an I next. Let's do quiet, I, and then et. And then there's going to be an ET at the end. Quiet, ET. We also have the word quickly. Quickly. We have Q, U, quick, ick. Do you guys hear the word ick inside of that? Like ick. That's so gross. I, C, K, spells ick, but it's also lee, quickly. So we have an L, Y at the end. We also have the word question. Question. Question's probably the most difficult out of the QUs. I have a question. So we have QU, quest, est. Do you guys hear est? So we have E, S, T, question. Okay, shun, that's hard because if you say it out loud, it doesn't sound the way that it's actually spelled, shun. So question is actually how it's spelled, and the only way you're going to remember that is just by knowing that's how it ends. Question. I have a question. In, or I guess you can kind of hear question, I-N, but there's an O between it. Question. Quest, ion. So just kind of work on that this week. We also have OI as a pattern, OI. And so most of these are 4 to 5 letter words, and most of them have OI in the middle. Actually, none of them start with OI. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my pink color, So the first word that we're going to do that has the OI in it is coin. We have C, and then OI is our pattern. O-I, coin, coin. Now, you might have thought that was a K, but coin actually starts with a C. Sometimes C has that hard sound, k, k, and sometimes it's more like a s, s. It just depends. And then coin. We can hear N at the end. Coin. Yes, it's a little hard to see when the blue and the green are next to each other, that they're different colors. All right, the next word we have on our list is boil, boil. So we can hear the b, b. And then we hear oil, oi, oi, coin, oil, coin, oil. So here, O-I, boil, l, l. It ends with an L, boil. Okay, the next word on our list is point, point. You hear it starts with a P, p, p. And you hear oint, oint. So we have our O-I sound, oint, point, point. So we hear an N and a T, an N and a T, point, point. I'm going to do an N in green, and then I'm actually going to introduce another color because I feel like this one's orange. I feel like the N and the T are such distinct sounds, so they're such separate sounds, we need to recognize that they're very different sounds. We also have the word spoil this week, spoil. Okay, so actually part of spoil we already did in the word point, spoil. The only difference is it starts with an S. It starts with an S. So I'm actually going to use this orange to start out with. Oh, wait. Yeah, because the reason I was going to start with this orange is because we have the poi right here. So we have spoil, sp, sp. So we have the P like we do here, and then the oil, O, I, and then L. It's actually kind of interesting. The word spoil is almost like the combination of the word point and boil, and then it has an S on the end, or on the beginning. So you have spoil, oil, spoil. All right, our next pattern we're focusing on is PL, PL. So we have the word plant. So we're going to start with a PL, 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 plant, ant. Do you guys hear ant at the end of it? And ant is a word that we should be pretty familiar with, so I'm just going to use one color for that, A-N-T, plant, ant. So it's like the creature, the ant, but it has a P-L at the beginning of it. Right? We also have the word plane, plane. Okay, in this plane, there is more than one plane. This plane can be a homophone, but the one we're focusing on is like the flying plane. I don't know why my fingers did that, but we're talking about the one that you can go up in the air, not the one that means like boring or, you know. So we have P-L again, pl, play. So plane, ain, ain. Do you guys hear that? Ain. So we have an A, ain. Okay, so n, n. Do you guys hear the n sound after that? So we're going to do an N, but if you look at that word, that's just the word plan, right? We need something that changes that n sound to n, like plain, instead of it being plan. That actually, I guess really we're trying to change the A sound. So we need to create something on the end that's going to create that sound. And the thing that's going to create that sound is actually going to be an E. When we add this E, it goes from plan to plane, an to ain, ain, plane. All right. We also have the word place, place. So we have P, L, ace. So we hear it very clearly because that's a hard A. It's going to be A, S, S. Now, some of you might be tempted to do an S, but do you remember when we were talking about the C sound in coin, that sometimes it's a hard C, like K, K, but sometimes it's more like an S, like a S, S. So in this case right here, it's going to be a C. It's a C. But if you left it like that, it would be like plaque, plaque. So what's going to soften that A sound with the C is going to be an E. Do you guys see how this E and the A on opposite ends of the consonant kind of change the way that A sounds? So here is ain from an, and here from ack, it's going to be ace, ace. So that E allows the A to make a hard A sound. Okay? Our next PL is going to be the word play. Play. PL, play. A. We hear the A. Okay, but if we left it like that, it's just a plop, plop. So we need one more letter, A. And you can hear y in there just a little bit. So it's going to be a Y, play. And with our prefix, pre, all of these, they're going to start with the word pre. So we have preview. P-R-E, pre-view. Okay, so the word view has a V, the view, ew. Okay, but the tricky thing is we can't just do an E and a W. Preview has a special feature in it, which is an I and an E together. So an I and an E together, and usually the I comes before E. There's a special rule that says I before E except for after C. So almost always it's going to be I and an E together, and the only thing that would change that is if that was like a C for some reason. So an I and an E, and then we have view, so we have a W at the end, preview. Okay, on this one, it's the word predict, predict, P-R-E. And I don't know if you have watched the Roots video yet, but we actually had one of the words have dict in it as well. I forgot which one was it that had it. Oh, we were using contradict. And so that spelling, dict, you can hear the D, and at the end you can hear the T. So let's go ahead and move along with that. So we have ict, ick. So we can hear an I, ick. I'm trying to decide what color I need to be using. Let's do I. And then predict. Okay, so this one's kind of hard. Dict. You can hear that there's two consonants. I think I just said that weird. But I'm just going to tell you that this is a C and a T together. A C and a T together. So let's do a C right here. Predict. So that C might be tricky for some of you to remember. And then I guess we need another color. It's a long word. And I guess I did purple, so now that's a Clemson. So hopefully you're a Clemson fan. The next one is pre-made. Pre-made. So we have P-R-E, pre. And then the next word is made. Made. So we have M. Pre-made. A. Do you hear that aid sound? So we're going to have an A. Okay, Now, the word made is another homophone. There is one way that you can spell it. That's like the person who cleans a house, and that has an I in it. And then there's one like made as in making something, or I made you dinner. And that one does not have an I in it. It just has an A. So we're doing the one that's pre-made, like I made you dinner. So in that one, right after the A, instead of being an I, we are going to have a, what do you think? Pre-made, d. It's going to be a D, a D. Let's see, what color do I need? Let's do orange. You know what? I wish I had changed something about the color a little bit, and you'll see why in just a second. But that says pre-mad, mad. We need it to say pre-made, aid. Do you remember over here when we had that A and the E with one consonant in between it? We have an A, and we're going to want an E right here. Let's use our Clemson purple. And when we add that E, it turns that A to an aid. So instead of pre-mad, we're going to have pre-made. So A and an E with a consonant between makes that A sound long. Pre-made, aid. Right, and then the last one that we have that matches our patterns is pre-test. Pre-test. So we have P-R-E and test. Test. So we have a T. So that is a short E. Test. Test. Do you hear two consonants? It's an S and then a T. An S and then a T. So we're going to have an S. And then a T. Pre-test. S. Okay, so we've made it through our list of most common words, but we also had a few on our list that don't follow any of the patterns that we have. So I just wanted to tell you about those so that you know that they're on there too. So one of them actually made our spelling list twice. I didn't realize that until I was getting ready to do this video. And that word is making, making. So we have make, like, and this making is like this made. Now, obviously we see made like M-A-D-E, but when we spell making, we're not going to have an E inside of it at all. So may, A, do you guys hear the A sound? So we're going to have an A next. A, k, 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 k. You hear that hard K sound? So we're going to have a K. Now normally if we're spelling the word make, it would have, I'm going to use a pencil, it would have an E right here. But there's a special pattern with ing where you can drop the E and add ing. So instead of make with an E, we're going to do drop the E, pretend it's not there, and then we're just going to add our ing. ing. So I'm going to add the ing with orange. ing. Okay, and the fun thing is since making was on our spelling list twice, what I'm going to do is I am going to have the last question, instead of having the word making on there twice on our spelling quiz, I'm going to ask which spelling word was on our list twice this week on accident. And so if you get that one right, then you will get the points that you're missing, plus I'll give you 5 extra bonus points. So you could actually, if you get all of your questions right on your spelling test this week, you could actually get a 105. If you remember that making was actually on our spelling list twice on accident. Okay, another word that's on our spelling list, there's 2 more. One is above, so above. If you hear it out loud, above, you might think it starts with a U, but it doesn't. It starts with an A. It's a soft A. And then it has a B next to it. Of, like oven, of. So we are going to use an O, of. Do you hear the V? Let's do, but that says above. Just like that pattern we were talking about with the A and the E, we are going to have an E on the other side of this V, and it changes the sound of the O. So it fits just a little better above. All right, and the last word that we have this week is the word could. Could. So it starts with a C, even though it sounds like it could be a K. It's could. Ood. There is a weird little spelling pattern that we haven't talked about today, but it has an O with a U together. O-U. O-U. Could. Okay, could actually also has a silent L in it. So a silent L, could. Because if you're saying it out loud, you're not going to hear that L. It just doesn't come out. So that's something you have to be aware of by studying this word, could. It's like cold. It's like the word cold with a special U in it. Cold with a special U. Could, cold. I mean, they don't sound that different, do they? Not that different. All right, guys, good luck. Have fun playing on your links and practicing this week.